Becoming truly smart, a journey of self-discovery. In a world where intelligence is often associated with diplomas, titles, and deadlines, an inevitable question arises. Are we truly becoming wiser, or are we merely accumulating credentials that leave us exhausted and dissatisfied? If intelligence means learning to solve problems, acquiring useful skills, and inspiring respect, why do so many of us feel that the pursuit of knowledge has only led to more frustrations? Perhaps true intelligence doesn't lie solely in books and formulas but in something more practical, accessible, and human. What if you could become smarter without the burden of years of academic study? Let's explore how to transform the desire to learn into a practice that elevates your life without unnecessary complications. The myth of intelligence. Deconstructing the traditional path. For generations, we've been taught that intelligence is achieved through years of formal education. The traditional model promises that with effort and perseverance, we will emerge as capable individuals ready to face any challenge. But how often does this promise fail? Many people graduate, enter the job market, and instead of thriving, find themselves overwhelmed, frustrated, and in some cases, directionless. This perception is not just an individual issue but a reflection of a culture that values degrees more than practical skills. We've been conditioned to believe that wisdom is reserved for those who follow a rigid and structured system, but what if that's not true? The myth of formal intelligence creates an artificial barrier between people and real learning. It convinces us that we are less capable if we don't follow the official path, ignoring the fact that everyday life is a rich and unpredictable classroom. Deconstructing this myth begins with a simple idea. Intelligence is not measured by the time spent in a classroom or the complexity of the books we read. It's about how we use what we learn to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. It's about understanding context, making connections, and solving problems creatively. This kind of practical intelligence is not only more accessible but also more relevant. When we begin to question the myth of intelligence, we realize that learning is within our reach in unconventional forms. Podcasts, meaningful conversations, lived experiences, and even mistakes are powerful tools for growth. Being smart is not about accumulating information to impress others but about developing a constant curiosity and a genuine desire to understand the world. True intelligence is less about how much you know and more about how you apply what you know. This reflection paves the way for a more human and accessible approach to learning, redefining what it means to be smart in a world that often confuses intelligence with data accumulation. After all, the first step toward true wisdom is recognizing that life's greatest lessons often come from outside the books. Learning with purpose. Knowledge that makes sense. In a world saturated with information, learning with purpose has become an essential skill. But what does this really mean? We are often bombarded with content that seems useful but, in the end, has no practical impact on our lives. How many times have you read an article, watched a video, or even completed a course only to forget everything a few days later? The question is not just what we learn but why we are learning it. Learning with purpose means aligning knowledge with your personal goals and values. It's understanding that not all learning needs to be immediately applicable but should in some way contribute to your worldview or objectives. When you study something just because it's trendy or because you feel you should, the learning loses its essence. On the other hand, when you find a clear purpose for what you're absorbing, the experience becomes transformative. This doesn't mean you should limit yourself to obvious areas or those with immediate financial returns. In fact, some of the most valuable lessons come from unexpected places. For instance, learning to cook might seem trivial, but it can teach patience, planning, and creativity. A book on philosophy might not solve daily problems but can change how you view challenges and opportunities. To learn with purpose, start by identifying what truly matters to you. What are your current interests, passions, and needs? Maybe you want to communicate better, solve problems more efficiently, or simply expand your understanding of the world. Once you know why you're learning something, the how becomes much clearer. Another crucial element is the emotional connection to what you're learning. When something resonates with your values or experiences, your mind finds ways to make that knowledge memorable. For example, if you're learning about personal finance to provide stability for your family, that connection makes the learning more meaningful and less exhausting. Learning with purpose also involves letting go of the fear of failure. Often, the most important lessons come from mistakes. When you accept that learning is a continuous and imperfect process, it becomes easier to explore new areas and absorb information without the pressure of immediate success. Finally, remember that useful knowledge is knowledge you can share. When you learn something with purpose, the impact isn't limited to you. It reverberates in your interactions, inspires others, and creates a cycle of mutual growth. In this way, learning stops being a task and becomes a journey filled with meaning. Underscore 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 underscore. Practicing what you learned, the true test of intelligence. Knowing something is only half the journey, the other half is doing. How often have you understood a concept but struggled to apply it in real life? This disconnect between theory and practice is one of the biggest obstacles to meaningful learning. However, true intelligence is revealed when what we learn translates into action, directly impacting our lives and potentially the lives of others. Practice is the bridge that connects knowledge to experience. Without it, learning becomes a collection of abstract ideas that fade over time. It's like watching a tutorial on tying a tie. You might understand the movement, but you'll only master it by actually practicing. The same logic applies to almost everything we want to learn, from manual skills to intellectual and social abilities. One of the biggest challenges in practicing what we learn is the fear of failure. We often avoid putting something new into practice because we fear criticism or making mistakes. This fear paralyzes us, leading us to believe we need more preparation before acting. But the truth is that the deepest learning happens precisely during mistakes. Each attempt teaches us something new, whether about the process or ourselves. Moreover, practicing doesn't just mean mechanically repeating what we've learned. It also involves adaptation and experimentation. This is where we find creative solutions and develop a deeper understanding. For instance, someone who reads a book on effective communication won't automatically become a better communicator. They need to apply the techniques, adjust them to the context, and reflect on the results. Practicing what we learn also solidifies knowledge in our memory. When we put something into use, the brain recognizes the relevance of that information and stores it more durably. This also explains why imagining practical situations helps retain information. By visualizing a real application, you convince your mind that it's useful, even without immediate practice. Finally, practicing what you learn isn't just a way to become smarter, it's a way to live more intentionally. Practice connects knowledge to action, turning ideas into experiences and eventually into wisdom. Through this cycle of learning, doing, and reflecting, we grow not just as intelligent individuals but as more complete human beings. Redefining wisdom. How to be smart and human. What does it mean to be truly wise? In a society that glorifies success and perfection, we often confuse wisdom with accumulated knowledge or the ability to impress others. But at its core, wisdom is much more than that. It is a delicate balance between learning, understanding, and applying what we know in ways that benefit ourselves and those around us. It's about being smart without losing our humanity. Wisdom begins when we acknowledge that we don't know everything. Instead of pursuing intelligence based solely on facts and figures, it turns to something deeper. The ability to listen, reflect, and act with empathy. Often, the problem with the pursuit of intelligence is that it can become competitive, leading us to treat learning as a weapon rather than a bridge. Redefining wisdom means letting go of the need to prove something to others and beginning to learn for ourselves. Being smart isn't just about knowing many things, it's about knowing how and when to apply them. Knowing how to take criticism without reacting impulsively. Knowing how to choose the right words to resolve a conflict. Knowing when silence is more powerful than any argument. These nuances of behavior reflect emotional intelligence, something we often overlook in our obsession with appearing intellectually superior. Another fundamental aspect of wisdom is understanding the value of simplicity. In an increasingly complex world, many people get lost in grand theories, forgetting that the most effective solutions are often the simplest. A kind gesture, an honest conversation, or a thoughtful decision can have more impact than any elaborate plan. To be human in the fullest sense is to find simplicity amidst chaos. Redefining wisdom also means learning to value life experiences as much as academic knowledge. The deepest lessons don't come from books or lectures but from lived moments, successes as well as failures. A stumble can teach resilience, a misunderstanding can teach patience, a loss can teach gratitude. To be wise is to allow life to shape us without resisting the lessons each situation brings. Finally, true wisdom is reflected in how we touch the lives of others. Intelligence may earn respect, but wisdom inspires trust and admiration. Being smart and human is about using what we've learned to make the world around us better, even in small gestures. It's about building genuine connections, embracing the beauty of imperfection, and contributing to something greater than ourselves. In the end, redefining wisdom is realizing that it's not a destination but a continuous journey. It's the act of learning, growing, and applying what we know in ways that enrich our lives and those of others. After all, being smart isn't just about knowing more, it's about being more.